Hello, lovely people. I'm Shaq, and welcome. Today, I want to share a few things before we get into what we're doing. The progress on fitting the tropical shirt for Buffkin here is moving along. I'm having some issues with the arms. I'm gonna have to figure out what to change, whether to change the hole or the top of the shirt sleeve. Anyway, I'll get it worked out. And one of the things that I want to do with the patterns that I am developing and refining for this wedding party is make them into patterns that you can then use. And hopefully that'll happen. And it won't just be one of those things of, oh, wish I coulda. So cross your fingers, help me along, wish me luck, that I will manage to turn those into patterns that you can then use. I also, you haven't seen this shirt before, huh? I got another shirt made, and I promptly messed it up in the process of making my buttonholes and had to patches. I don't know if you can see that. I have a patch right here where I cut the buttonhole wrong. So I have these are all hand-stitched buttonholes because I just absolutely refuse to go and borrow Arthur's sewing machine to do buttonholes. My machine still won't run. It's I have a buttonholer for the my old Singer, but there is something in the works of the top of the, in the gears of the machine that's gumming up, and it doesn't run it properly. So I need to take it further apart, I guess, and clean it up. But anyway, I have these cool scissors here that I got years ago for making hand-sewn buttonholes. You have to cut the hole for the buttonhole first. And this is an adjustment right here that'll make it either a larger buttonhole cut or a smaller buttonhole cut. And then this opening here is the amount away from the edge of the shirt. So you put the edge of the shirt up against here, and then that part won't get cut. But this little thing, the screw mechanism right here, doesn't hold its adjustment as well as it used to. And so I cut a much bigger hole than I intended and had to patch it. So the downside of not keeping track of what's going on your scissors. But it meant that I was aware, so the next shirt, I didn't make that same mistake. But I want this shirt, I found a pinafore I had cut out and realized I was never, ever going to wear it. So I thought, well, I'll just make it into a shirt, but there wasn't quite enough fabric. So as you can see here, the pink is the pinafore, and then I put the stripes I got for the yoke and the sleeves. And let's see if I can get this up here. The bottom of the shirt, nope, has this cute print of a child's parade, I guess. It's got a dragon. It's a fantasy parade, I guess. Anyway, I just thought that I had to have that, preserve it in some way. Now, this light pink is kind of too close to white, and I don't wear white because I stain it. I am klutzy, and I spill my coffee down the front of me on the regular, and other things. So I don't have a whole lot of hope that it's going to stay pink. I may have to over dye it or dip dye it or something, but I hope that I'm able to preserve my parade. We even have a unicorn in some way, because that's the part that I absolutely loved, and it didn't come in another color. Anyway, but I got the shirt done. And so then I think that's it for tropical shirts for me. I think I have 4 or 5 now. Of course, one of them is quite old and was probably going to retire soon. I've already patched it too. But fingers crossed, it lasts me for a few years, and I don't need to make more tropical shirts anytime soon. I don't know. It's not that I hate making them totally. They're actually one of the easier shirts to make, but They don't get a lot of use by themselves because it's rarely warm enough here. As you can see, I am wearing a t-shirt underneath it, and I will often wear a long sleeve t-shirt underneath them. So it would be actually better if I was spending my time making long sleeve shirts. I wear them for much more of the year and get much more use out of them. But I haven't had, see, I'm sitting here, I'm cold. The sun is finally coming out and I'm dressed for when the sun comes out. It hasn't warmed up in here yet. Anyway, let's see. Told you about that. And I don't know if you can tell, I've got the wedding party lined up over here as I try and figure out what I'm doing. We've even got the mother of the bride and we're working on parents of the bride and groom. But today I am going to finally put Della together, my Kestner. And let me turn the camera around so you can watch. I haven't glued her, put her pate on the back of her head, the piece of cork. It's not recommended with these dolls that you glue it in place like it was originally, but that you use bookbinding tape. I don't have any bookbinding tape, but I had something similar and I tried it and it just wouldn't stick. And not really in a position to acquire bookbinding tape without needing it for other projects. So, and I'm going to use a PVA glue. And forgive me, all those who collect these antique dolls and have a real issue with people doing that. The PVA glue can be soaked off, so that's my reasoning for going ahead and doing it. Her eyes are held in place with wax. They are not even put in with the usual kind of plastery stuff that would have been in there. You know, like I said before, she's reinforced here with a lot of glue and fabric to just kind of stabilize all her cracks, and I don't think she has much value at all, but sentimental. So I don't feel too bad about just gluing her pate in place. This isn't a doll that I think will have any resale value. So if you have a doll that is has that value, you paid a lot for her and you're working on her or whatever, I first of all would recommend consulting or using a doll doctor who's familiar with them if you need to do something like put a pate back on, and or get that bookbinding tape and use it. It's applied just behind the ears up onto the pate, and if they have a hairstyle that would hide it, I would also put one right up here, but yeah. Otherwise you wouldn't want to. You wouldn't want to put it in the front. And I'm not quite sure how it manages to hold the pate in place, but I've been told it does. And that's why you would want to talk to somebody who knows, not me. But here we are. We've got our body. We're going to slide it in place here and try and I guess pin it and then stitch. I want it kind of held. The top of her body could have been a little bit wider, I think. And I am totally off the camera. Sorry about that. Trying to brace her against me so that I can get it in there. Anyway, it's funny because the body looks the right size once you get clothes on it, but it looks a little thin and narrow right now. I think that side could be a little tighter. Maybe not, but we're going to try anyway. Oops. I think I'm going to go ahead and just start the stitching. Now my thought here, I guess that's why you want to pin it. was to do like an X, I guess, of X stitching. Does that make sense? It doesn't even make sense when I hear myself say it. Oh, and if you happen to notice some blue on my fingernails, well, we had a just that executive dysfunction. I wanted to dye my hair, and I got upstairs and discovered I'd forgotten the gloves, but realized that if I went back downstairs for the gloves, I was not going to get it done. So I went ahead and dyed my hair without gloves on. I don't recommend it. So a couple of stitches crossways, I guess this way, and then we'll go the other way. I feel like it's still too loose. I may have to tighten it back up. I may have to try again later and see if I can get it tighter. But yeah, we got a haircut and hair dye done this weekend, I guess. Okay. I really should have paid attention when I was looking at dolls that are put together this way, how it is stitched there. I cannot remember how hers was stitched. And it's been a while since I've even looked at a doll. Let's see. If her head's sitting crooked, then you know one side's tighter than the other. I guess that's okay. Is there enough thread to do it again? Probably not. Not knot it off. So I'm also waxing my thread. I was thinking I was going to use like a linen thread or I don't know. I used to have some heavier linen thread in the drawer, but it is not there now, so I'm assuming I used it up and haven't replaced it. It's more like, I guess it's more like if you took the 6 strands of embroidery floss and spun them, kind of thickness. I use it for leather work as well, but I didn't want, I had some that wasn't waxed, pre-waxed. They use paraffin when they wax it, I think. And I'm using beeswax. I don't know that one is better than the other. It's just principle of the thing. I'm not a fan of paraffin because it's petroleum. And since I have a petroleum sensitivity, you know, that sort of thing. Oh, once it's waxed, it does not want to slide on the needle. I feel like I did a fair job of getting the blue off. So sad when you cannot trust yourself to go back and get something you need. Now I am trying not to scrape against her shoulder plate. So this shoulder plate, let's get the right word out. This one's not stitching the same. I managed to leave the needle, the pin in on the other one. Oh, it's getting in the way. Till it was done. Just trying to make sure I get through the wool, but not scratch her. You ever feel like it's not quite secure enough? When, you know, these shoulder plate dolls have always felt to me like they were a little precariously attached. I don't know. Maybe that's because I came into it like with other preconceived ideas about how dolls' heads should be attached. Okay, that's it for the needle and thread. Now, let's see, we've got the copper wire that I hung those hands and feet up with. My thought was to reuse it, but I don't know. Sometimes you need it like really straight to get it through, and this is not, having been curved and all that. Well, that might do it. Okay, let's see if I can find those original holes, the correct hand on the correct side. Let's see if this will even go through. Yeah, there's the other end. Okay. Flicking everything every which way. No. Trying to use the arm to help me aim. I don't know, maybe I should have reamed my holes again. Kind of feels like it. So the awl did help open back up the hole, but it's still a struggle to get it through there. After you get the copper wire through, I bent it into a round to get the raw edge kind of covered, and trying to make it less likely to get caught on stuff. I'm sure it will still get caught on things. And I also found a flannel bag to put over her head so that little miss wouldn't get her face more damaged in this process, because, oh, there is a lot of wiggling it around. Also, I don't know about you, but if I start having trouble getting something to go together, if I stop and look at the pieces, invariably I'll discover that something's not in the right place. Like, it just wasn't going together, and I stopped and I looked, and I had her hand actually on backwards, like that orientation, instead of the correct orientation. So as soon as I turned her hand around, things went smoother. And I don't know why that works, but it does. And maybe it's just some kind of universe keeping me from really frustrating myself, maybe. I don't know. Don't fight against the things that are causing you to struggle. Don't fight against it. Maybe look around and see if something's not in the right place. So we're gonna, hopefully this one will go smoothly. I don't know. Just hoping. Trying to see whether or not I'm even aiming in the right place. copper is really easy to bend and then it won't go through. So yeah, I've already stuck a kink over here. Sometimes it helps. You've got this in here to go back with the awl and gently feel. Doesn't even feel like I'm in line. Persevere. I will eventually get this to go through there. I gotta say though, as doing it as a demo makes it hard. Just makes it harder because I gotta stay in one spot, and I'm one to like get thoroughly involved in the thing and be hugging the doll against my chest. And I can't do that. Well, we're not having any luck. I do have the hand in the right orientation, so that's not what's holding us up here. Ah, there we go. I just needed to get the wire caught on the back of my hand. Yeah, the little curve there grabbed me. So, just curve it around. Make sure the end is up against the other part of the wire. Give it a little extra. So, I don't know. Let's bring this up. See the extra bit of curve there. And then I'm trying to get it flat. Last time I curved too far, and it was actually curved back into the arm, which I don't think that's great. Now, I may stitch these down to where they stay here instead of accidentally scraping the arm. Might give it a little stitch, and so it can't do that. And cut it off. It was nice to be able to reuse the same wire that I'd hung them up for painting, though. And the second one's always harder, because you're working in close to the body. See if I can get them both bent the right same direction. And I think that I got them both squeezed a little tight, but the arm moves, so we have movement, we have arms, yay! There's a little clap, little clap. These hands don't clap well, do they? Clap. And next, the knees, and I think I will do those off camera and come back. So she's all together and has a dress on. Some things I'd like to mention here is that I didn't end up needing to stitch this down in any way, because once both sides are bent down, it stays in place and doesn't rotate when you move the leg. So that's not an issue. The other thing is that when pushing the awl through, it helped to go in and make sure that I was hitting it in the same direction I was poking the wire. I realized that that's pretty close to what I was doing when I poked through in the same direction that the wire was going in, but it just seemed to need to have a wider part of the awl come up to the hole, so I was hitting that second hole again with the awl from inside the opening to open it out better. I don't know if that information is useful to anybody, but I hope it is. Also, I did, since this is the next day, I did glue her pate on. It kind of got chaotic in here yesterday, just as I was about to finish and show you how her body turned out. The whole crew got back home, and there were packages to deal with and reports on things like this. This is the gnome sprig mold, the last one, the most recent one that I just did. I put a little more effort into making sure that it didn't have anything that would trap the clay. And we did low fire instead of high fire, so it's not sealed. It absorbs, it will absorb moisture, which might make it actually work better. So got that back, and a fun package from VDC with a lot of stuff in it that basically free to me. I contributed the Sybil cat, and was given a gift certificate that I used and thoroughly enjoyed. You'll be seeing a lot of that stuff popping up on photos on my Instagram and Facebook. That most of the clothes I got were actually going to be used for Cindy, and so you'll see it there. Anyway, I hope you have a delightful day and a wonderful week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.